Permanent Secretary with us this morning. Remember, Madame MC told us that she would have come, and I was telling you of a conflict. But she made good on her promise, and I'm delighted to ask you to help me welcome Larissa Gittins-Macmillan, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs, Persons with Disabilities, and Youth, will give us some remarks this morning. Help me welcome her.
Thank you very much, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
As it turned out, yesterday I thought, when we had that meeting, that I have two sessions which were supposed to begin at 9 o'clock. And we had a nice little arrangement how we're going to get this sorted out. And then I sat at my desk and the phone went. And the group called and said, the minister said that he was supposed to do this for him because he's not going to be in the country. And all three sessions are supposed to start at 9 o'clock. But I'm here. I promised I would, and I am here. So, let's have a little conversation. We are here to look at creativity for employment and business opportunity. And our focus is specifically on young people. Now, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, according to our last census information, our youth population is 26% of the overall 110,000 approximately individuals. That same census also showed that the highest unemployment is among that cohort of the population, the young population. So from the get-go, we have a problem on our hand. A large number of individuals between the ages of 16 to 29, which is what the document that the Ministry of Planning put together said that between the ages of 16 and 29 is our youth population. So automatically we have a cohort, a demographic, with a problem: high unemployment, a number of young people with nothing to do. So how do we help them? Because then it becomes the responsibility of the state to do something about it. We know that where young people are concerned, that they have high levels of creativity and innovation. It's one of the reasons why the old people, not me, the old people would say, these young people this. You know, you hear that all the time? These young people do this, and these young people do that, and these young people are all sorts of things. Because they do not understand the dynamics of these young people. For example, I have a 17-year-old in my house. And you know, when you have all these young people, they have all these gadgets. And there she is, she's doing the physics assignment with 4 or 5 other people who in their parents' house, someplace or the other. You're on the gadgets, and you're talking and you're discussing. And I've heard parents say, you need to take away the thing because all they're doing is talking. Yes, they need to be talking, and they do talk, but they also do work. Something that we didn't have at our disposal. When I went to secondary school, my computer was the Encyclopedia Britannica, which was upstairs. Anybody who went to high school would know it was upstairs outside of the principal's office. And you had to take turns to use the thing. Now it's in your hand. Everybody has a smartphone, and you can plug in and log in and talk and discuss, and it turn out better. And so we have heard, or I have heard individuals say, that the CSEC and that sort of thing are easier now than it was in my day. I don't subscribe to that. Why would they make the thing easier? What happened? The examining body doesn't want its reputation to be at a particular standard. The individuals, the children, have more access to a lot more information, and they know what to do with it. Creativity and innovation gets them over the top. Now, when we turn out of school, all of these individuals with their 20 and 80, in my day I did 9 CSEC. I was the brightest thing, one off, about the place. Because whole 9 is plenty. In the days when people did 6 and 5, I am doing 9. I'm walking on clouds, I bright. Now, the 9 is regular, ordinary. People now with 20 and all kind of stuff, we may question why they need it, but they do have it. So here it is, we have churned out all of these individuals with a whole number of CSEC and other qualifications on their hand. And if you turn up in the general population, what do I do with all this information that I now have? So numbers of individuals start writing application. We're looking for somebody to employ them. They're looking for employment, because after spending all of that money, then you need some returns on the thing. Tell my 17-year-old, you need to go supermarket and do some bagging. You ask them for too much money. You know? Now imagine all of the parents who are spending all of this money. And when you get to a particular stage, you want to feel nice that you can spend your own money. I know that. Yes, it's one thing for your parents to give you a $5 now and a $10 now. And by the way, when you leave school, you know that your parents are not giving you any more money, right? You learn that after. When you're going to school, they give you all this, that, and the next that you ask for. As soon as you finish, they finish with you too. So you need to have some money in your hand someplace. You have now written all of these applications. And if the people are polite, they will say to you, we don't have any vacancies at this particular time, but we would look at, write you back a really nice letter. But in the meantime, you're still not employed. So, our youth, they come up with brilliant ideas. They have all of these ideas, how to go about sorting out their lives and all of that. Our next hurdle is, you have the idea, and you figure, where is the money going to come from to finance these lovely ideas that we have? Where are the individuals who are going to guide us and mentor us and all of that? Remember that you have no job of your own, haven't worked anywhere else yet, but you have this brilliant idea. And you get brave. You visit one of our financial institutions and you're hoping that somebody would look favorably on you. And the people said they go through your business plan and all of that, and they say to you, it's really nice. Tell you all the nice things and this. However, but you're young and you're a risk, and therefore we can't lend you that kind of money. You wonder how I know this? I have a 26-year-old in my house who's struggling to get a business off the ground. That is what it is. Now, we go back to the parent, because the child there, the financial institution, has deemed you a failure. You're too young, you're high risk, and therefore they can't lend you their money. Never mind they have money floating about there. But they would send to me, write me, all of them, to ask me if I need a new vehicle, they would give me 100% financing. don't need vehicle. Even when I had a buggy, I didn't need vehicle because I was getting from point A to point B, and that is my thing. I'm not into the fancy thing and do the wheels and the spinning and all of that. No. That's for the young people. But in order to do that, they need to have money. They don't have it. So the bank has said no, or whatever financial institution has now said no. Then you go back to the parents. Now, if the parents do not have the means, that's you marked off, one down. What do you do then? We do not have development bank. So how do you go about it? So we have a number of frustrated young people among us. Some of whom start acting out, and then we go back to, you see these young people? You see these young people, and we start criticizing them for all sorts of things, without looking at us to say, we are failing our young population. We ask for education experience for them to get a job. We ask for financing for them to get their ideas going on. But in the case of St. Vincent, you would know, government is the largest employer and the system is saturated. We have a host of people who are looking for employment within the government service, but the service can take in so many individuals. So where do we go? How do we manage? How do we help our young people? It is my view that a lot of tokenism is given for the youth. I get into trouble for saying that, but that is my view. A lot of tokenism. So we say the right thing when we think it's the right time and the right set of people listening. But after that, nothing happens. After that, nothing happens. So we have all of these individuals who are there with nothing to do, and then we wonder why we have crime and violence about the place. You see, it's the young people who are killing one another and doing all of this and that and the other. What other opportunities have we opened for them to not do the crime and the violence and all of the other ills that are in society? And after saying all of that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why you are here. How do we help our young people to get over this sort of frustration, to give them an opportunity to support themselves financially, to work on the business ideas that they have, to encourage them to be productive citizens in the society? So, with a lot of assistance from the CARICOM Secretariat, or through the CARICOM Secretariat, we are here for the rest of the week to work on how we can help our young people help themselves. And while the emphasis is on the young people, you are also gaining information. Yes, the information you would pass on, but it's not that you go to take it and say, hand it over to the young people and nothing would stay with you. So some of this information would stay with you, and I'm expecting that at the end of all of this, you would be better individuals, have a better understanding of how business works. What are some of the possible failures? What are the challenges you're likely to encounter? And after you have come up with the business ideas and worked the plans, and you realize that this thing can actually work, whatever profits you have earned, whether now or later on, that you're going to write a charity in the name of Grenadines, and you put something up there for me. Why are people not smiling? I need the interest. But seriously, that the information that you would gather here would motivate you as individuals personally, while you take it to the youth who would have their own session next year, and we work and we collaborate, that something would stay with you that you can of yourself utilize to improve your financial statement. You know, this salary 12 times a year, really not cutting it. You want something to top up the 12 times a year salary, because for some of us, by the time I'm finished buying diapers for $92 and change, 28 in the package, can't last for the whole month, my father's 85. You understand? I really need a little topping up someplace or the other. So if we can get something to top up the basic salary, the 12 that we get per year, it's important, it's significant. It goes a long way. And the business idea doesn't have to be anything falling out of the sky. I tell you something. I moved to the ministry, and one of the first things I noticed is the situation where we have these individuals that the government pay rent for to start with. And nobody wants to rent their houses because everybody knows that government pay takes a while to get there. It's not today from today. It takes a while for the thing to be processed. And I thought to myself, now if I can come up with some measure of tapping into that, or a little money that I collect, because the pay, it doesn't come every day, but it's decent. So if it is a situation where you are not totally dependent on that, then I can go on this cruise that I've been promising myself that I need a long time. I can actually do the thing. But in your situations, people come up, you see ideas, you see avenues, so that the information that you gain here, you can utilize it for yourself and personally gain added income. Now, the more individuals who are self-employed, which is why you're here, the more individuals who are self-employed, the less reliant we are on the state, the better the standard of living for you and for everybody generally. Who doesn't want that increase in their salary? If they can give me one every month, I'd be the happiest person, but you know how things are, it's not going to happen that way. But at the end of the day, at the end of this week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping, I'm trusting that we have more participation, more awareness of possibilities when it comes to becoming self-employed, of becoming our own bosses, of utilizing the information that we now have to further employ other individuals so the chain continues. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be better off for it. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening.
For the purpose of this interview, could you kindly state your name and who you are?
Anne-Marie Williams.
Give me a brief synopsis of what CEBO is and what it's all about.
CEBO is an exciting opportunity dubbed as a life-changing experience for young people, be it they're in school or out of school. It's an opportunity for them to conceptualize, develop, and start their own business. Not just to start and put it off for a day, but it could be a real life-changing experience in that they can take their little startup, their seed money, and let that business literally take off.
Okay. Tell me about CEBO in terms of the countries that you've been in. I know you've done 13 countries so far, and you have a new phase of CEBO right now. Talk to me about that.
The first phase of CEBO started in 2012. This is actually the second phase. And for this second phase, 2 new countries have been added, Haiti and Barbados. They've been added to Jamaica, St. Vincent,
Belize, and many of the countries have seen young people actually taking hold of the opportunities and running with it. There are a few young people from the 2012 phase who have started their business at that time and still have their business up to today. And so while in the Caribbean youth unemployment is of grave concern, it's a stopgap measure to help young people to not just go to school or not even maybe attending school, but don't get that mentality that I have to grow up and work with the government, because the government in this region happens to be the largest employer. So it's a chance for young people to see their potential and know that they can start their own business. So this workshop gives them the opportunity to see themselves as entrepreneurs.
Right. And what is the overall objective of allowing young people to see themselves as entrepreneurs in terms of how the community itself will benefit from this?
Well, the overall objective is to create economically resilient citizens, because right now we're doing CEBO in St. Vincent. And if we could get 10 young people starting business, or even 5 out of this 15 young people cohort, then St. Vincent would have done well, because this morning we heard the PA said that 26% of the population happens to be youth, and that's of 110%. And that's the highest cohort where unemployment is. And so if we could get them starting their own businesses, it's not only to help them and their families, but St. Vincent as a community will benefit, because we all know that government benefits from taxation, and so that's a great plus. But it also helps other young people to see themselves as entrepreneurs and businessmen and women. If Jacine can do it, then I can do it. Each one teach one. And so this workshop is an opportunity. It's a trainer's workshop. So those attending, the 15 people attending, will not only hone their craft and get skills, but they will be able to ply their trade and teach young people the art of starting their own businesses.
Okay. Talk to me now about the other workshops. I know there is a deportee component to the workshops. Why are we adding this new component? Tell me about it, and tell me, what is the reason for having that?
Well, the word deportee is not a politically correct word now. We call them involuntary migrants.
Right.
We know that when they, after having served their time, they're sent back home. When they come home, what do? We don't want them to revert to a life of crime. So it's an opportunity for them to start their own businesses. Why? Because of the stigma and the discrimination attached to being a deportee. Many businesses don't want to take them under their wings. They don't want to hire them. And because of the skepticism, it keeps them at the margins. We don't want them to get involved and try stealing and things like that. So this is like a second chance for them.
Okay. All right. In general, just tell me about what we hope to be the final outcome of CEBO, how many countries, just a final synopsis about this program.
Okay, we're actually wrapping up CEBO between this week and next week. And we're hoping that the young people that we're meeting, giving them startup capital, that they will be able to translate that into a meaningful business. If not today, then tomorrow. We also want the different communities and the member states to see themselves in the CEBO program. That CEBO is a part of CARICOM. It's inspired by CARICOM and funded by the 10th EDF program of the European Union. And we want to make sure that member states know this. CEBO is coming to your area. CEBO has been in your area. And it is something that we need to hold on to and be proud of for our young people and by extension our communities.
I know I said that was the last thing, but I want you to just give me one more brief comment about CARICOM's involvement in this, because I know CARICOM has been crucial and we've been partnering with so many people. So tell me about that partnership and, why is CARICOM doing this?
Well, it's inspired by CARICOM, and you and I know the brainchild behind this whole thing is Program Manager Dr. Hillary Brown, who's responsible for culture and community development. She's so passionate about CEBO that we have all joined the CEBO bandwagon. And we want to see CEBO succeed, because when CEBO succeeds, we all succeed.
Right, but tell me about the partnership between CARICOM and the other organizations that are involved, the governments, etc.
Well, it's CARICOM and the 13 member states that are part of CEBO and the European Union. We're not sure when we'll see a third phase, but we will see a third phase of CEBO. But for the meantime, it's been a partnership from 2012, and we've added on 2 more countries, so there's 2 more. And certainly when we have the other roll out of CEBO, we'll be adding on more countries. So we want to make it throughout the entire region, and we want to hold on to it as part of CARICOM's pride and joy for the member states.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.